So my music was streamed over 10 million times on Spotify over the last 12 months, thanks to your amazing support, of course. And in this quick video, I want to take you behind the scenes. I will exactly show you how that happened and how much Spotify actually paid me for that. I think some of you will be quite surprised. So if you're a musician, you will get a ton of value out of this video. It will definitely help you with deciding if you should invest the time to build a following on Spotify and what you can realistically expect from that. And even if you're not a musician, I think this is going to be a really interesting look behind the scenes. So let's take a look at the dashboard together real quick. This is called Spotify for Artists. As you can see, I selected last 12 months right here. I had over 10 million streams in that time frame from over 1 million listeners. I think that's the first thing a lot of people are confused about. When you see the term monthly listeners on an artist's Spotify page, those are not the streams they get every month. Those are just the listeners. You can actually see this in the analytics as well. Right here you have streams per listener, which is around 9. And I want to jump right to the last stat, followers. If you followed my journey on YouTube a little bit, you know that this is pretty much my first year of going all in with the music, and this metric actually has a lot to do with it. So 1 year ago, I started to notice a lot of similarities when it comes to Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, all of those social media platforms. You have subscribers or followers, and you also have an algorithm that's mostly interested in keeping the viewers on the platform that will push out your content to a new and possibly quite huge audience if it's good. And I'm not the first person to realize this, of course, but I had this big aha moment for myself. And I realized that Spotify is kind of exactly the same and I should also treat it that way. So releasing just one album with 10 or 12 songs every year, or maybe even every 2 years, seems really outdated when you compare it to YouTube or Instagram. It would be kind of like posting 12 videos on the same day every 2 years or something like that. So I went for weekly uploads on Spotify instead, and you can see that this was kind of effective. The following grew from around 20,000 people last year when I only had one album out, all the way to 72,000 people right now. You can also really see this kind of development with the streams as well. Of course, you have standout months or days whenever there's a viral song coming out. But overall, this development and growth feels very similar to what I've experienced on YouTube over the last couple of years. So that's my first tip if you're a musician as well. Going for consistent weekly releases and kind of comparing the platform to YouTube or Instagram has really helped me with understanding how it works. And the next very important question that's going to be interesting for all musicians especially, where are the streams actually coming from? There has been a bit of a conspiracy when it comes to this over the last couple of months, because I got featured on a lot of Spotify editorial playlists this year. Spotify's official heavy metal playlist, which is pretty huge. I was also very often on the all new metal playlist. Maybe you heard me over there. I'm still in the official progressive metal playlist by Spotify with the song Flow for over 1 year now. Naturally, a lot of people commented that I probably know someone over at Spotify or that I'm paying for this. To be honest, I wish that would be possible. This only happens because I release a lot of music and I pitch every single track. As an artist on Spotify, you can actually pitch your releases to the editors, and if they like it or if they think that it's a good fit for a certain playlist, they will add it for either just a couple of weeks with a playlist like All New Metal, which is about new metal tracks, or for a very long time if it fits a certain genre, like in the progressive metal playlist. And since these playlists have a huge amount of followers, people think that they are super important. I hope this is not too disappointing for people out there, but they're kind of not. So as you can see right here, we have 54,000 streams from editorial playlists and around 120,000 streams from personalized editorial playlists. So out of a total of over 10 million streams, that's not a lot. Then we have 2.9 million streams coming from my Spotify artist profile and catalog, over 4.2 million streams coming from listeners' own playlists and library. And you can see another much more important factor right here, the algorithmic playlists and mixes. You might be asking yourself, how are people actually discovering the music? I really put in an effort when it comes to making interesting and different music videos on YouTube this year. You might remember videos like Waterworks, for example, where I filled my guitar with water and it actually sounded pretty amazing. Farewell, of course, which was my biggest song of the year, and many others. If you have a personal favorite one from this year, please make sure to comment it down below. But overall, having a creative and interesting twist when it comes to the music on YouTube and also on Instagram, all that has really helped with people discovering the songs. You can really see this with my most popular song Farewell right now, that just came out a couple of months ago this summer, and it has around 1.4 million streams already. First, the YouTube video didn't really work because the thumbnail and the title weren't that great. Then around here I changed the thumbnail and title and the video went viral. That resulted from the streams going from 6,000 per day to around 17,000, which is pretty great. So it's pretty cool for me to see how Spotify is connected to my main YouTube channel like this. And that's already my personal biggest tip if you want to get your music heard. Don't just film an expensive music video. Really think about a creative twist that gets people interested in your tracks. I made the effort of going through the numbers for you. I'm releasing my music via TuneCore. There are a lot of different services like this. So all this really does is it pushes out all of my tracks to any kind of streaming platform. So I'm not only on Spotify, of course, I'm also on Apple Music and pretty much everywhere else. I went through all the revenue for you from the last 12 months, and I personally subtracted all the other platforms with hundreds or I think thousands of transactions by now. And I came up with one final number for how much Spotify actually paid me for these 10 million streams. And that's $41,243. So here's my honest opinion about this. You see a lot of musicians bashing Spotify online, saying they should pay their artists more. And of course, as always, it would be nice if they paid more. But to my knowledge, it's a 70-30 split, which is definitely not uncommon with platforms like this. If you take a look at YouTube, for example, of course, there are other streaming platforms that pay a lot more. But the reason why I'm focusing on Spotify is it's simply the biggest one. Your music has a lot of potential to go viral because there are a lot of people using this service. Let me know what you personally think about all this down below. If you watched until this point, you might be interested in what I'm actually doing on that platform. So as a bonus, I would like to end this video with this week's brand new single with a very special guest. So thanks for watching and have fun with this new track called Heal Me. I will see you again next week. Bye bye.